Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review, well, we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to 2018 when I made a series about build your own little utility shed, a wooden shed, and how I built mine. And today's video is going to be all about the foundation and how you build a shed and what you put on underneath. Because the last thing you want to do is just build a shed on the ground. It'll rot out in no time and it'll sink into the ground. So today I'm going to show you the results after all these years of this shed and how I actually built the foundation part. It's mostly all about the foundation, but I'll put some links down below for some interesting videos if you care to watch them about the shed build. But let's start off at 2018 and let's go back in history when I filmed, and I'm just going to take some clips out and show you the progress from just bare grass to how I built it, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the shed and I'll show you what it looks like now with the foundation and how I believe this is the only way that somebody should build their shed in their backyard for the do-it-yourselfer if you're handy enough and you have the tools to actually accomplish this and be successful at building your shed without having any problems. Now, in my particular situation, I had two choices. I could either pour a concrete pad, which is not feasible and it's very expensive to do, or this alternative. So take a look and then we'll come back. Lifting that sod right out of there, and then I'll get some of that limestone screening and fill them holes up. So let's get back when I have this all completed with the limestone inside of each hole and a block sitting on top. And as you can see, I have the blocks all in, and it's quite easy to do. And this one here I left open just to show you. And guys, I would say the deepest hole I had there was about 3 inches deep. I went right down to the clay. I don't like to disturb the soil any more than possible. And just filled it up level and pounded it down as level as I could. And what I'll do now is just place that block right on there and move on to the next step. I got the outside perimeter all framed in. Bring you over and I'll show you. And yeah, that's not too bad. So, and them blocks, they're just 4x4 blocks, and I've glued them in, a double here, a double on the other side, and all the way around like you can see. And guys, that's going to be pretty good fit there. And if you take a look on the front, and I've got the same on the back side, I've got the ledger board all marked where all the joists are going to go, and I'll bring you back when I have all the joists in. Okay guys, I just thought I'd show you this setup that I do when I'm building something like this, because the two opposing boards are going to be really loose and it's hard to actually square up and nail and everything else. So what do? I bring out the come along. I mean guys, this is so easy. Just throw a couple of straps on there and yeah, I mean, you know, this is such an easy thing to do, and I just put my square in there and make sure that it's all copacetic, and I fire in the nails. Well, there we are right there. I thought I'd bring you back when I get this far done. And I've got all the joists in except two. And if you take a look right here, you can see there's going to be another one there, and that's right at the 4-foot mark. And same on the opposite side, so I'm going to have 2 extra joists in, but I'm leaving that out for now so I can fit my nail gun in between here and nail all the cross supports in. So I'll bring you back after I got all the cross supports in. Well, there we are guys. The sun went in and it started to get windy. So here we go. This is it right here. I'll zoom you in there. I'm not too sure if you can see that or not. but everything is right on center there. This is about 4 hours. With the Bostish nail gun there, you bang this off pretty fast. Okay guys, here we are. I expect this to be slow going because this ground is hard as a rock. And you could put this in with a sledgehammer if you want, but my arms just couldn't take it, guys. So I'll put them in with the rotary hammer. Let's see how we do. Right about there, that'll do fine. Okay guys, there you are. They're all put in. I figured I didn't have to show you how to drill and anchor them in there. But yeah, I got them all in. And I'll tell you, one of them took a good 12 minutes, 14 minutes to get it in. But most of them, you know, like this one here, went in pretty good. Okay, so here we are right here. It's quite windy out here today. I don't know how this is going to go over. But as you can see, I put some stone just around. I didn't go around the back there though. So here's the platform over the whole winter. So it lasted pretty good. And I just stuck these stones here in the front. And I got one missing right there, because that's where I'm going to put my hydro line in there for some lights. And I got that done there. So that's it right there. And I'm going to start construction. I always work clockwise. So I'll start here, make this wall here first, then I'll do the back wall, then up here, and then the front the last. Well, here we go right here. And you can see I got the ladder the way that's positioned there. And I can just take the forms, walk them right up the ladder, and just throw them right up on top there. And that's not too bad at all. I'll show you the two sections left. Now this small one will be going down through the center, and I know I'm going to be hanging stuff off the ceiling, so I made this with lots of studs in between. And this section here will be going up at the end, right up here. So you can see there's the two sections there. I'll throw them up, and we'll come back and we'll just take a look. There she is, guys. She's all up. Only took me about 2 minutes to whip them up there. And if you're wondering how you get them up there, well, you just stand them lengthwise from the end down. Just pick up the end over to the ladder, just push it on up. And that's it. There she is, guys. Now I have to straighten it all out and put the overhang where it's supposed to be, and it's going to be you know, has to be level all the way around, straight. I'll show you inside here. Yeah, so I did a double one here because I'm planning on hanging some stuff off the ceiling. So I thought, why not, right? So that's the way she's going to look there. And I think it's going to come in pretty easy to do. And if you take a look at these sections here, right up in here, this is where the 8-foot mark is for the sheets of plywood, and then I got less than 2 feet to the end. Okay, so there's the completed shed, and we'll just start off at the front where the door is, and I want to take you, and I want you to take a look at the stones down there, and we're going to go all the way around here, and you could see how tight they are to the bottom now. Now in the video you notice that I didn't put any of these 1 foot square patio stones along the back, and there's a good reason for that. I knew that this shed was going to settle down, and I didn't want it to settle unevenly, because when you look at the pitch of this, it may be hard to tell here, but anyways, it is pitched down like this. Not very much. And the last thing I wanted to do was for this to change and have the pitch go to the front, right? So I made sure I didn't put no stones along the back, so that as this settles, this would have no support and it would rock this way. And that's exactly what it's done. So you come across the back and you could see that it's the same all the way around, and they are tight. Now I will tell you something. When you seen in the video there, I didn't have all these stones in prior. So the reason why I put the limestone screening down is so that I could have the cornerstones about 1/4 of an inch higher, so I could slip the other stones in at any time. And then over time, what does it do? It settles down. Now on all the stones in behind the skirt board here, I put caulking all the way along before I put this board on, to make sure no water went in behind to the foundation studs. So that's how it was built. And you know for sure that a shed is going to settle over time and sink in. Now after all these years, this is as far as it's gone, and it's not going to sink in no more. And it gives me that nice pitch that I wanted. It's a very low pitch, so I have lots of room on the ceiling inside to store stuff, and I don't need to have a worry about snow load or anything else. That roof is designed to hold more snow than I could ever carry on there. So that's the whole idea behind it. And when I was putting in all my sections in the beginning there, it was enough to put my 4-foot level across to make sure that they were all level across first, and then I could slide in the other stones after. And if you're thinking of building a shed like this, yeah, do the same thing where you don't put any across the back. That way there you know for sure that it's always going to settle in and stay pitched like this, you know, towards the back. So as you could see in the video there, I made it hurricane proof. Now the reason why I did that is you never know if you're going to get a bunch of high winds. Last thing you want to do is wake up in the morning after a good storm and see your shed pushed off. You'd be surprised how much Mother Nature could actually move a shed. So I made sure I made it hurricane proof. And the next thing was, all the way around, there's no way after all these years you're not going to get animals, you know, like mice and rats or whatever, and digging in underneath your foundation. And you know, so many sheds, you probably know, you have friends for sure, or neighbors that have animals living underneath their sheds. This one here, nothing's going to crawl underneath. And the last thing would be, well, I've had my failures. If you're watching the channel, I use them. They're like a deck block idea, and I did that like many years ago, many decades ago when they first came out, and I thought I'd try them. Total fail. I've had my place up in Northern Ontario, my shed, drop down this much in 10 years' time with using them blocks, and I used a lot of them and they totally failed. Now, if you want to build a shed up higher because you just want to for some particular reason, like I did, because I actually have a shower in that shed and I needed drainage, so I needed room to get underneath the shed to run the plumbing. Well, I would build it again, and I would probably use patio stones, like big 24-inch patio stones, and then put one of them blocks on top. But besides that, I find that this is the easiest for the do-it-yourselfer, the handy person that just wants to take their time like I did over a couple of seasons to build a shed. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is the easiest shed foundation you could make. And use, you know, the whole idea behind gravity, and you know for sure that it's going to sink in, right? Well, you could see after all this time, it's almost like a caterpillar track or an excavator, where when you spread it out over a large distance, well, it just doesn't sink in. And I bet you that shed, with everything I got in there, must weigh 3 tons. So Thanks for joining me here today. I hope you got some tips off of this, and come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some interesting things that I do every week. Cheers.